Hello, Superstar traders. It's a pleasure to have you back on EQ Markets Global YouTube channel. This is the weekly market outlook where we share deep market insights on what is going to happen in the market for the week, and also we look at our favorite pairs to also look at the analysis, news releases, the dollar index, and a whole lot more, so that we keep abreast to proper information while we set into trade for the week. My name is 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, and I'm the head of product research and education for EQ Markets Global. Let's quickly get to see what we have for this week. So for the news release, of course, we are having a lot of high volatile expected news for this week, with more of the attention focused precisely on Wednesday, January 18th, and I'll tell you why very shortly. So today, of course, in the US, banks are observing a bank holiday, but not to forget as well, of course, we already know that the US has been really trying to fight inflation, and also to see how they can stabilize their economy. In fact, one major thing that is out of the US that I would like to inform you, of course, is their statutory debt limit, which currently the Treasury Secretary, Janet Yellen, has already warned the Congress about them exceeding their statutory debt limit. Remember, in 2021, the federal lawmakers actually raised the debt limit to about $31.4 trillion. That was in December 2021. But of course, looking at the way things are going, it seems as though the US economy is about to exceed that raised limit. And so they have about two options. Number one option is either they do some raise again on the statutory debt limit, or they put forward very drastic measures in order to see that the US does not default, does not have a sovereign debt default, okay? And that is a very important news, of course, because if the Congress leaders are to look into it, and also the federal lawmakers are to look into it, we might see some very significant move on the dollar index. So just to put that in mind, that this week or next week as well, we will be seeing a lot of movement in the dollar index, of which there are some form of movement that have already begun, but I will show you that very shortly. And then, of course, by 4 p.m. today, we will also be seeing the Bank of England, the governor of the Bank of England also give a speech. Then we're also expecting the GDP for China, and also we're expecting the Clement count charge for the GBP, and some form of CPI will also be coming out from Canada. Okay, so 2:30 p.m. On Tuesday. Let's also put that in mind, that the CPI will be coming out of Canada. Okay. Now on Wednesday, which is one of the most important days that we would be looking out for high impact expected news for this week, is because of course we already know what is ongoing in Japan. The last time they had some form of intervention, and the last time they had some form of intervention and monetary policy statement, that was late last year, fourth quarter last year. We saw how greatly that affected the Japanese yen, and improved it as well. Okay, sorry for that. It greatly improved the Japanese yen. All right, so more so, since we're expecting an outlook report from the Bank of Japan, we're also expecting a monetary policy statement, and as well the Bank of Japan press conference. Remember about their 10-year bond yield, which they are also looking at raising raising the ceiling for the yield on the 10-year bond that they currently are having. Of course, if that happens, we might also see some significant improvement for the Japanese yen. And then also we'll be expecting some form of CPI details coming out from Great Britain pound. That will be 8 a.m. Nigerian time on Wednesday. And yes, the big one as well we would be looking at still for Wednesday is the retail sales that will be coming out for the United States by 2:30 p.m. Okay, of course we already know that there was drastic drop in retail sales in the fourth quarter of 2022. And of course, this retail sales month on month will be accounting for how consumers were able to purchase products and all that for December 2022. Of course, let's not also forget that inflation is eating really hard, and so a lot of people are unable to make good purchase, and that's why we've been seeing some negative data. That's why we've been seeing some negative data as well. So already for last month, we had a falling about 0.6% on retail sales. And of course, for this month, it's projected to be around negative 0.8%. Of course, that wouldn't mean well for the United States dollar. And then not also that we will be expecting the PPI month on month as well for the United States dollar coming out still by 2:30 p.m. Of course, PPI will be one of the data that will be used to also check inflation as producers and manufacturers will give their own view on how the inflation is really affecting them, and of course that is going to cause some lot of high volatility that we will be expecting as well. Then let's not also forget the core retail sales and the core PPI. All these data will be coming out by 2:30 p.m. Nigerian time. So just to put in mind that we will be expecting all of these to happen on Wednesday Nigerian time. Okay, let's quickly look at the dollar index. Let's see what is really happening. So remember last week we were talking about the dollar index finding some significant support here, and I told you guys that if of course this support should hold, all right, if this support should hold and this level not effectively cleared out, we will see a little bullish movement in the dollar, okay, which simply means that we might most likely see a falling Euro USD or a falling GBP USD. But of course, if this area is effectively cleared out, it simply means that the dollar is continued to be devalued. Then we will see some massive bullish movement on Euro USD, on GBP USD, and also on AUD USD, which actually happened last week, and we saw that. Okay, so yes, for this week already we find a support somewhere around this level here. Okay, and that's why, of course, you can see that, yes, we are looking for that form of support somewhere around this level as well, still around this zone. We're finding that form of support here. And of course, for today already, the dollar has started out being bullish. Okay, so it simply means that we are going to be seeing some level of decline on Euro USD and some other pairs, which is currently happening. And in new time, I'm going to show you that. Okay, so my opinion is this: if this support should hold, okay, if this support should hold, but although of course we see all the negative data that will be coming out from the US, okay, if a lot happens in such a way that it affects the dollar negatively, then it simply means that this particular level will be effectively cleared out and the dollar will be continued to be devalued. And of course, you should know what that means to us as forex traders. But of course, if this level should hold a bit, then we're expecting this week some form of bullish movement back into this zone that has been initially broken. Okay, and from that level, all right, before we will be seeing some continuous devaluation of the dollar. So for this week, my opinion is we might probably see a stronger dollar for this week, all right? But then let's still play around the zone and keep that in mind. All right, so let's quickly look at some of the analysis that will be greatly affected based on news and based on interest, okay? But before then, if you are new to this channel, I need you to subscribe and also smash the notification bell so that you get notified every single time we drop educative and informative contents just like this one. And not to also forget to keep abreast with a lot of information, a lot of promos and offers and giveaways that is coming up on EQ Markets Global. I need you to stay up to date and follow us on all of our social media handles. We're EQ Markets Global on Facebook, EQ Markets Global on Twitter, EQ Markets Global, also on LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, and as well on TikTok. All right, so just keep abreast with all of the informations. Do well to follow us. Do well to follow us. and keep abreast with all of those informations. All right, guys. So let's quickly look at some some of these assets that are of interest for this week. Okay, so I'm going to start out with Euro USD. So for Euro USD, of course, we mapped out 1.09369 as one of the zones that Euro USD would most likely come to. Of course, we did that in the last market outlook, and of course, see how nicely this has played out, coming very close to this particular level. So this level is still a very significant level, right? Not to forget, it's still a very significant level, and of course, it's very significant because, all right, just a second, let me show you why this level is very significant. Okay, beautiful. All right, all right. So it's very significant because we have after a break of structure here, all right, which is this red zone here, which I've mapped out, right? You can see this red zone was a very major support here, and then it broke, retested, and it came into this zone, right? So it broke this zone. So after the break of that zone, the next minor resistance zone we would probably be looking at, it's of course this level that we have here, all right, which is around this 1.09332. Okay, so prices coming into this zone, we might see some very short repulsion, okay, back into this major resistance, now turned support, okay, and then the bullish movement might most likely continue on Euro USD if the dollar is continued to be devalued. But of course, for now, if we see a stronger dollar, then we will see a sell-off on, we're going to see a sell-off on Euro USD, let's say back into this zone, and then we will see a continuation, a bullish continuation on Euro USD. So that's my take on Euro USD. Another of interest is GBP USD. GBP USD has been struggling significantly for the past a month or two to break this particular resistance zone around this level of 1.22480. Okay, so it's currently playing around that zone. But if the dollar is continuing to be devalued, all right, then we would see a break of this level. And of course, if it breaks this level, we would most likely see GBP USD coming into 1.28597. But of course, if the dollar is being made strong, of course, we see how it's playing around a significant support level. If it's made strong, then we would see GBP USD fall back into 1.18592, right? So that's for us to just keep in mind. As well, for gold, gold is of very very high interest, of course, because a lot of persons have been anticipating the fall in gold, but then we see a continuous bullish movement. And of course, I feel that's because of the continuous devaluation of the United States dollar. Okay, so if all things being equal, we see that little bullish movement on the dollar index, then of course we would most likely see gold fall back into gold will most likely have a short retracement back into this level before attempting to get back here to around 1924, 1930 zone before it might most likely continue to go bearish. All right, but for now, let's look out for a continuous bullish movement on gold. But if the dollar is made strong, like I said, we will see gold fall back into 1897, which is the next support level that we are having, 1897. From 1897, if it's not effectively cleared out, then we will see a continuous bullish movement back into 1924 before we might most likely foretell what is going to happen next on gold. And then GBP JPY made its way to our top list of priorities and interest for this week because of the news that we're expecting coming out of GBP. Don't forget, we're expecting some reports from the GBP, and also we're expecting a lot of reports and monetary policy statement from the JPY. And so it would be really wise we also look at the GBP JPY. Okay, so looking at the GBP JPY on a weekly time frame, of course, we see that GBP JPY is trading around a very significant support level. Okay, it's trading around a very significant support level. All right, so scale down to the daily time frame and let's see what happens. This particular area, this particular zone at around 154.099 and 156.533 is an area to look out for. So my bias or my opinion is we would most likely see GBP JPY have a continuous drawdown or consolidate even around this level and then come back into this trend line before we would see a continuous bullish movement on GBP JPY. All right, so I said a consolidation because we're expecting some high impact expected news on GBP as much as we're expecting some level of high impact expected news on JPY. Okay, but then in the long, if you look at it on the bigger picture, of course, you know that predominantly we have some level of bullish movements that is in dominance. Okay, so that's why we said some level of consolidation because this is a significant zone. And then, of course, after that consolidation, all right, some level of consolidation. And after that consolidation, we'll most likely see a continuous bullish movement on GBP, JPY. All right, the last I'm going to be talking about, of course, is the Dow Jones, okay? All right, last week we talked about the Dow Jones coming in back into this trend line, all right? I know a lot of persons will be like, it's too risky. But yes, of course, this has already played itself out by the Dow Jones coming back into this trend line that we've always kept as our landmark, okay? So what is going to happen next? Today is already a bearish day. Today has already started out as a bearish day on the Dow Jones, all right? So in my bias, we would most likely see a continuous fall in the prices of the Dow Jones, at least back into this level, right? So we'll most likely see the Dow Jones for this week fall back into 33,694.5. Okay, most likely we would see a sell-off on Dow Jones back into this level before attempting to break this particular zone here. All right, so I'll be looking out more for a sell on the Dow Jones than I'll be looking out for a buy. All right, so thank you so much, and I hope all this information helps you to plan your week, plan your trading, and make some good profits for yourself in the market this week. My name is 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, and I hope to see you next week. And don't forget, subscribe to this channel and also hit the notification bell so you get notified every single time we put out educative and informative content. See you next week on the Weekly Market Outlook.